Today I prepared a presentation on Vita Coco, and I was told that I could prepare it in English, and I was planning to present it in English, but seeing that, the majority of audience here are Chinese, I will speak to you in Chinese. So apologies to the English speakers because it will be in Chinese, but sorry to the Chinese speakers that you'll have to listen to my Chinese. Okay. So 我第一个问题就是说
You know what cocoa water is? Do you know what cocoa water is? For those who know, please raise your hands. You know what cocoa water is? Raise your hands. Let me show you a short video clip to show you what cocoa water is. And also Vita Coco as a brand, our short history, and a brief explanation of the production process of our product. Please enjoy the short video.
Coconut Water 101, an unexpected journey. This story. 10 years ago, during a casual outing to a New York City bar, childhood friends Ira Liran and Mike Curbin met two young women from Brazil. When asked what they missed most about their country, the ladies said agua de coco, which they called the most nutritious and delicious drink in the world. Intrigued by the idea of their coconuts, the fruit that is, Mike and Ira did some research and learned that the hype was real. 2 months later, the guys hopped on a plane to Brazil with a plan to bring coconut water to the U.S. Vita Coco was born. But before we go too far, you should probably learn what we're made of. The goods. This is a young coconut, not to be confused with this hairier, older coconut. While older, more mature coconuts are used to produce the fat-filled coconut milk that tastes delicious in a pina colada and almond joy, consuming both of which in excess may end in tears, young coconuts contain more of the clear, fat-free liquid we call coconut water. What's so great about coconut water? For starters, it's naturally rich in important minerals, vitamins, and electrolytes. It's also low in calories, cholesterol-free, and tastes great. So where do we find our coconuts? They grow here in coconut trees, which grow here in coconut groves, which grow in places like here, 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 and here. The life of a coconut doesn't seem too shabby right now, does it? For 6 to 8 months, palm trees soak up soil and sun to fill their coconuts with a perfect mix of naturally filtered water, vital nutrients, just a hint of sweetness, and a healthy dose of Mother Nature's love. For thousands of years, people in tropical regions have cracked open coconuts to sip the refreshing water inside. But thanks to pioneers like Mike and Ira, and those lovely Brazilian girls, you no longer need to keep a machete and ladder on hand to enjoy it yourself, because coconut water has gone global. The process. After being hand-plucked from the tree, a fresh young coconut only lasts for about 10 days, after which it turns into a pumpkin. Joking aside, it's because of this small window of opportunity that most coconut water manufacturers use one of 3 methods to make the stuff shelf-stable. Not from concentrate. That's what we do here at Vita Coco. From concentrate. And canning. The not from concentrate approach involves picking, cracking, and packing the coconuts directly at the source. After the coconuts are plucked from the trees, they're washed, cracked open, and flash pasteurized for 3 to 4 seconds, which helps sterilize the coconut water while keeping its delicate flavors and nutrients intact. For our flavored varieties, we use only all-natural fruit purees, making sure that nothing but the purest ingredients go into the pack. From here, the coconut water is poured into eco-friendly Tetra Paks, which allow the product to be shelf-stable without refrigeration. The entire process, from tree to pack, never exceeds 72 hours. To put that in perspective, I've been on benders that lasted longer. Once filled, packs are boxed up and shipped to stores around the world. In fact, we hear the end result is a lot like sticking a straw in a coconut. Granted, our source was a talking monkey, but who's asking? Similar to our not-from-concentrate approach, the from-concentrate method starts with cracking open a coconut and flash pasteurizing the water inside. Then things get a little hairy. The coconut water is put into a giant evaporator. Think a big pot on an even bigger stove, and heated for hours until 93% of the water is gone. What does that leave in the pot? a thick coconut water concentrate that closely resembles yellow gravy. From here, the coconut gravy is frozen and put in storage for up to 6 months. Eventually, the concentrate is thawed, mixed with water, and in some cases, fruit flavoring, pasteurized once again, and bottled. What's the total effect of all this heating, cooling, pasteurizing, and mixing? We can't say for sure, but we think frozen reheated coconut gravy speaks for itself. As with the other two approaches, canning starts with harvesting the coconuts and extracting the water. But that's where the similarities end. Sugar and sometimes fruit flavoring are added to make up for all the coconutty goodness that's about to be boiled away, followed by preservatives like sodium metabisulfite. Yum. Next, the resulting liquid is heated to pasteurization temperature, a steamy 170 degrees. This sweetened, preserved, super hot coconut mixture is poured into cans, which are sealed and placed into a pressure cooker. Because they were prepared in the open air, the coconut mix has to be cooked a second time to kill off bacteria introduced along the way. Then the long, slow cooling process begins. Finally, the can is packaged and shipped. No one knows exactly how prolonged heating, sweetening, preservative spiking, pressure cooking, and cooling affect coconut water. Ignore the fact that these sound like medieval torture techniques. But anyone who sipped coconut water in a can, and not from concentrate coconut water in a Tetra Pak, will say they're different. In case I lost you, let's do a quick recap. Never from concentrate and the Vita Coco way equals 3 simple steps. From concentrate equals a bunch of not so simple steps. Canning equals too many scary sounding steps. So there you have it, Coconut Water 101. The results. It turns out Mike and Ira were onto something, besides the Brazilian girls. In 2009, 6 years after Vita Coco hit the scene in Brooklyn, it became the coconut water category leader with a 60% market share. Think the Apple of the coconut water category, but our CEO wears flip-flops instead of a black turtleneck. In 2010, big names like Madonna, Matthew McConaughey, Demi Moore, and Anthony Kiedis made investments in the brand. What was the initial result of all this high-profile attention, besides Like a Virgin being thrown around as a possible flavor name? It put Vita Coco on the map, allowing the brand to get space on the shelves of major retail channels previously monopolized by beverage bigwigs. In 2011, tropical singing sensation Rihanna became the face of Vita Coco, catapulting the brand to a new level of stardom and causing all Vita Coco employees to perpetually have "Under My Umbrella, Ella, Ella" stuck in their heads. Today, Vita Coco is available in more than 75,000 stores in 13 countries around the world and enjoyed by people from all walks of life. So, if you're any sort of active, from pro football to yoga to extreme chess, Vita Coco is a great way to stay hydrated and help prevent cramping. If you're a college student recovering from a hard night of studying, drinking a Vita Coco before bed equals a more manageable morning. Electrolytes are a hangover's worst enemy, in case you didn't know. And if you're from the tropics, it's a little taste of home. We can't be sure, but we suspect our success has something to do with how hard we work to keep our coconut water just the way Mother Nature intended. Natural. It's a pain in the ass, but totally worth it. P.S. Ira married that nice Brazilian girl from the bar. The end.
那希望大家对这个椰子
Hope you understand a little bit about the coconut water and the story behind our brand.
我们这个产品
So our product is very simple, coconut water. It functions are stacks with naturally occurring electrolytes and potassium rich. Helps you to replenish hydration, water, and good for your health. The mission of our company, or the theme behind our brand, is many people nowadays think health is a top priority, and they are very careful in what they drink, what they eat, and how they live. So I'm saying a little bit of a healthy intake of water or food, and day by day, you'll be in a better shape. You will be happier while also healthier. We entered into China in 2014. In Asia, we launched our products in Japan, Korea, Singapore, and some other regions in Asia. Vita Coco is available in over 30 countries now. The company was incorporated in 2004, so we are still a young brand. Today, I'd like to explain to you how we built our brand from day one.
The first step would be to get as many people to know about this brand as possible. And the idea is to make it readily available in as many places as possible. Big companies would launch an ad campaign to tell the customers what the benefits are. So we will start with awareness to encourage consumers to buy the products. But when Vita Coco was established, we were a very small company. We didn't have the resources to buy advertisements. That is why we adopted a different way. And that is what I would like to share with you. The topic of today's presentation is Core to More. Core refers to core market strategy. We focus our efforts on core areas, targeting the right people in the right locations. Core also refers to core channel strategy. Both strategies are interrelated. Now, let me talk about core market strategy. We would focus on the hot zones. We launched our products in New York in 2004, and then we expanded our business to Boston, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. In 2011, we finally had national distribution. So it took us approximately 7-8 years to have national coverage. In Europe, our presence is concentrated in major cities in Europe. For example, when we go to the UK, we don't have this ambition to have our products sold in every single shop in the UK. Instead, we'll focus on London. In China, we launched our products first in major cities Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen, and then expanded to other places. When we enter different cities, how shall we find our target customers? Now, this creative target is not really about consumer target. Consumers are those who really buy our products, but creative targets are not necessarily people who buy our products. They can be people that our customers trust or believe in. They are often healthy and active influencers. They are health aware, independent and open-minded and thoughtful. They are, more often than not, living in big cities. They are affluent in terms of their income. They're hip and trendy. And we would go to places where they have their holidays. These are examples chosen from the UK and the US. In Japan, we would go to Tokyo's Omotesando or Harajuku-san to find our target group that resonate with our lifestyles. These healthy, active influencers have hobbies and consumption behavior. For the age group 18 to 24 and 25 to 39, you can see the brands that they like, the magazines they read, the fashionables they buy, the sports they like, etc. In China, we sponsor China's Color Run. It is a fun way of sports. When people get to know the brand for the first time, we want to know where they first find out about our brand. Perhaps after a run, they feel thirsty. Our product is perfect for them to quench their thirst. Or when they go shopping for clothes or do things that they like, they may discover our products and brand. We think that first impressions are very important, and we want them to become repeat customers. In order to realize that goal, we need to make sure that they have easy access to our products, and I would like to move on to the next slide. Influencer activities. We value sports and culture. Sports, as an example, would include triathlon, yoga, surfing. They are considered very hip sports. And people who love these sports are potential customers of our drinks. And in terms of culture, we believe fashion is trendy and hip. And fashion would catch the attention of a lot of people because this is an important part of your lifestyle. Musical concert is another example. That is a nice place to meet our potential customers. Show you a number of examples. This is an example of a project we did in London in collaboration with the Yoga House. Many people after finishing their yoga exercise feel thirsty and they're health conscious. That is why they are perfect for us. This is London Fashion Show. It doesn't necessarily cost us a lot of money to do these projects. We are not sponsors of the Fashion Week. We might work with designers, stylists, photographers, and we would provide our products to them for free. When they work with models, they would share these drinks with models. In last autumn show, we managed to show our products in many places, but it didn't cost us much. This is a concert that was sponsored in China, the Strawberry Music Festival. We've been in the US market for over 10 years. And the influencers in the beginning might be photographers, etc. But as time goes by, we have many important influencers. For example, sportsmen. They all are our consumers. That completes the market channel part. Now I would like to move on to channel strategy. When we go to a new market, we may not be able to get our products sold in all hypermarkets and supermarkets. We would work with influencers or people who are interested in our brands. As I mentioned, yoga is a nice fit. Gems are a good example. In China, we have a presence in many theaters and cinemas. They may not sell the products in large volume in these places, but we believe that these are very good locations to showcase our products and brands. This is a channel strategy example from the United States. For us, the most important channel would be natural food places. They sell healthy and organic foods. Rank number 2 is healthy cafe. Rank number 3 is yoga places. The lowest ranking place is cash and carry. Examples would be supermarkets. This shows our strategy and our prioritization. This is an example, a few examples of our influence and channels. They would include yoga studios, gyms, as well as food services of big companies, but we'll only choose companies that have a relevance to our brand. In our opinion, our consumers would like a few brands, and we would work with these brands. And the influencer channels would include health food stores, country clubs, etc. I've talked about different channels. I have few final key points to make. Number one, influencer target is not equal to consumer target. They can be buyers or consumers of products, but they may not be buyers of our products. Point number two, the brand needs to find a way to reach our clients.
And how to ensure the tone is consistent. Through the short video clip I showed you at the very start, I hope you could feel that we are a fun brand, we're not a serious brand. So this tone is important. Our brand stands for fun. Well, these are adjectives that can be used to describe our brand, what we stand for. Last but not least, well, this is a campaign we did last year in the US. Our slogan is stupidly simple. As I said, we hope that every day you eat healthy, drink healthy, and live a healthy life. You spend a lot of time looking at your mobile phones and working, but do not forget that a little bit of a health increment every day, then you will embark on a very healthy journey. Thank you very much. We'd like to thank Patrick for his sharing with us. We have a Q&A session. Any questions from the audience? Hello, Patrick. Most of the similar brands access their customers offline. And do you have an online plan to cover more customers? Well, we adopt this a step-by-step approach. When we enter into China, I would say China is a little bit different when we conduct marketing. Because here we use a big distributor, a big local distributor. They used to be the distributor for Red Bull. Therefore, we contacted this distributor, so we got off to a huge start. Well, at the same time, we're also considering the grassroots audience, the grassroots consumers. Therefore, we also launch a variety of events or campaigns to get their attention. Probably in the US, we adopt this store-by-store approach. But in China, it's not store by store. We might start by having a concert to capture people's attention. Because it's not business as usual when we enter into China.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you guys tend to have a strategy around the timelines for rolling out your products in terms of moving from your influencers, so from the core to more? Or is it more of an organic thing where you reach out to the core groups, your influencers, and kind of see how that grows organically before you decide on the next stages in terms of pushing out to more?
I think it happens kind of simultaneously. And I think that, when you think about an organization and there's the marketing side and there's the sales side, I mean, the sales side has targets. The marketing side gets to spend the money and has budgets. So typically, I would say that we grow very organically in the developed markets like the U.S. and the U.K. We, strapped by limited resources, this was how we had to grow. But at the same time, there are sales targets that we need to meet and to push the business forward. And the ideal situation is when these two sort of worlds collide. And what happens, and it actually happened in the U.S. and it happened in Europe, in terms of, it was these small pockets of people who basically, through word of mouth, led to bigger interest, led to sort of the establishment of the category as a mainstream category through retailers and supermarkets, et cetera. But I would say that the focus for us internally as we push forward is, as you described, more organic. Yeah.
Well, I have a question. You used a distributor who also distributed for Red Bull. I learned about their financial statements last year, and their feedback was Vita Coco sales performance was great last year. 200 million RMB revenues worth of sales last year. So how much resources would you invest on this distributor? It seems that by using this distributor, your sales revenues was beautiful. As I said, in the US and also in Europe, the coconut water category is still was known in these markets, but it's still novel. If you ask ordinary Chinese, many of the Chinese have never heard of this category. For example, just now I asked you if you have ever tasted the coconut water. Most of you said no, probably because you're too shy. You know it, but you refuse to tell me. But the truth is, many Chinese have not heard about this new concept, coconut water. So we have to build this category before we can drive up our sales. Probably in the Chinese market, we have distributed our products to over more than 10 cities. And these 10 strong cities feature different level of development. We have our target audience, and we have our sales target, and we have to deliver. Hello. I really enjoyed your presentation. I personally like your products very much. But as far as I know, in the US, it depends on the influencers and then the words of mouth to help you promote your concept. But here, do you have a plan to do market education? According to my observation, Vita Coco is only available in some import high-end or premium stores. And usually, you had some freebies and ask shoppers to taste your products. Our market education is mainly through sampling, either in a supermarket or in a retail outlets. We give these shoppers to have a try and then explain to them what this coconut water is. As for the above the line part, not much has been done. Last year, we had some metro advertisements or CVS advertisements, but only to a limited extent. We're a niche brand to begin with. And probably, even if we've done a lot, you might not have noticed us because there were too many possibilities for consumers to choose from, and they all invest heavily on advertisements. As I said, we adopt the path of organic growth. We have our resource constraint. For example, digital, social media, and sampling and demonstrations. These are all communication opportunities between us and the consumers. Hello, Patrick. I really like your presentation. You said you have a core market target, be it young professionals or trendy persons. Does that also apply to China? After you're gaining more and more insights about Chinese consumers, we do also have a localization of your customer, a target customer segment. What are your target Chinese customers? I said yoga practitioners, because yoga is a healthy kill of time, and many youngsters in China are now practicing yoga. So through such channels, fitness club, and in collaboration with a studio or some other brands, we try to approach our target audience groups. Because yoga is organic hobby, and our product is organic product, to give just one example. So that's the answer. I have a follow-up question. It takes the buy-in of your customers to help you build up your sales, because your products are not cheap, right? You need to do good customer education so that you can make the case that the price tag is justified. They like to pay the premium for its healthy component. Therefore, can you talk more? Can you elaborate a little bit on your pricing strategy, and how do you make the case that they have a good value for the money paid? Can coconut water replace water consumption 100%, or it's a supplement? Can you elaborate a little bit more? I'm afraid I'm not able to answer this question, because even within the company, we're still thinking about the positioning of our product. I haven't made up our mind yet. When we first entered into China, I heard that the price was a little bit expensive. At the moment, it's 11 yuan per bottle, but initially it was 15 yuan per bottle. So 15 yuan was pretty expensive, on the expensive side. So we lowered the price to 11 yuan per bottle. But the pricing is subject to market development. Of course, we hope that more people can access our products, but we also have to consider production, import arrangements, whether we can achieve the economy of a scale and make this business viable.
My question also about the marketing education. I agree with that lady that actually the marketing education could add value to the product. But however, we are running the business, so we have to evaluate how is the return of the marketing education. So I just want to know your opinion about that part.
And I think that, again, because this is quite a new category, marketing education is super important. And I think, when I have everybody in a room like this and I have 30 minutes and I can show you the whole video, and you can get a better understanding of what coconut water is and what benefits it can deliver, that's ideal. That's the best case scenario. In most cases, we don't have that luxury of having that focused attention so that we can feed people the information and really educate them. And so then, again, it becomes, there's two ways of thinking about it. One is that, if we can get to the target consumer who would potentially be more interested in this type of product, who may have more of an attention span to listen to us, that is ideal. And that happens, either at premium supermarkets because people are shopping in these categories, they're health focused, etc. It happens at gyms where people are working out. It's a relevant product for them to use, etc. So I would say that so far, especially in China, the marketing has been somewhat multi-tiered in terms of different areas of focus. But again, we've only been in China a little over a year. And there's a lot of, the way that we grow, in fact, because it's very unlike textbooks in terms of how you do marketing. So there's also a great deal of trial and error involved in terms of what works, what we should do more of, what doesn't work, what we need to change, etc. So it's actually somewhat of a work in progress as well.
Okay, thank you. But just the last question from me. Do you think right now is the right time to enter China market? Is it the right time to do the marketing education for the mass Chinese consumers? And do you have more confidence now than before to gain the consumers from other competitors? And if also, can you please share who are the competitors in your mind? Thank you.
Okay. I mean, if you look at general beverage trends as well as sort of consumer habits, consumer preferences, you will see that there are certain categories in the beverage sector that are in decline. So for example, sodas, juices. And this is happening in China. It's happening in many places in the world because people are becoming more and more health conscious. Health conscious in terms of what? Health conscious in terms of calorie intake, in terms of sugar, in terms of preservatives. And so, it's never easy to pinpoint when is exactly the right moment to enter, to develop, to be in a place. But I think that, in fact, based on these types of trends, it's quite in alignment with what our product can provide to sort of address these types of issues. And from that standpoint, I mean, I feel like, this perhaps is the right time for us to introduce a new type of product that has these types of benefits that people can appreciate.
Yeah. Okay. 谢谢 Patrick 的演讲。
Thank you very much, Patrick.